Disease is a process. It's no longer something where we just walk around the street, just walking down and going, ha 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 ha, oh, I've got a disease. No, there was something else going on before that happened. So let's look at some case studies. I talked about a lady, didn't I, earlier, called Shiri. And Shiri came to see me. She's learning to do META-Medicine. And at age 3, she was molested by the next door neighbor in the genital area. And this set up a shock in her system, which later on in her life, it attracted, when she was old enough, other people into her life. At age 17, she was raped. Really, really badly. That point as well changed her whole life completely. Everything shifted. Again, the same thing happened at age 20, and then at age 22, and again at age 24. Now, she's from Israel. And the Israelis, men and women, they go into the army and they learn about being part of the army so they can protect themselves. And she was taken home at age 24 by the man that had raped her, dropped off, and obviously in shock, and she sat there with a revolver on her lap, and she made a choice that day. She made this choice to either kill herself and end it all, or to never ever have this happen again. A year later, she developed pulmonary hypertension, which is to do with the arteries. The arteries are the pulmonary arteries, which are the arteries that go into the lung. She almost died. In fact, she did die. She was clinically dead. And she came back to life. Obviously, she had a mission to deal with. And she's still alive 10 years later. And this diagnosis is very fresh in my mind because I only did this diagnosis on Monday this week. And we haven't done the therapy yet, but for the first time ever, I was able to explain every behavioral change that she went through, all the symptoms, why she had the problem in the first place. I was able to establish the conflict shocks, and I was able to change the conflict shocks in her system in real time. I did this over the internet in front of a small group of people. And they could see her literally change her behavior over the internet as I triggered off each one of these shocks. We still have to do the therapy. But suddenly, we're opening up the book that says, hey, disease is showing us now what is really going on. It's no longer 8 days a week. It's a whole song. And it's opening up to us how disease occurs. But more importantly, you see, and the difference that makes the difference is when you go and see your doctor and your doctor says, oh, I've got this problem. And they say, oh yeah, the body's made a mistake and basically, we'll give you this drug. And you say, can I ask you a question? Because I really respect you as a doctor. They go, yeah. Why? Why have I got this disease? We don't know. Go away. No, I'm serious. I really want to know why. I can't. It's a bacteria. But why have I got the bacteria? Your 7 minutes are up. Go. They cannot explain why a disease is there, but for the first time ever, she was able categorically to understand why her disease was there. No doubt about it. Amazing. So, where does this lead us then with nutrienergetics? First things first are, we now have a human body field. We know that disease goes through a process. Most of your clients come to you in the rest phase. That's when they have the fevers. That's when it's horrible. That's when it's unpleasant. Or they're chronic. And the deal and the thing as well that we now can do is with the knowledge of meta-medicine. Remember, there are no therapies in meta-medicine. With the knowledge of meta-medicine and the amazing work that Peter has done and the incredible work that Harry has done, and all of us have all contributed in many ways too, we can go back to the original conflict shock and release the trapped information by exploding the issue from the inside out. So the therapy is directed right into the center of the issue. But here's the problem. How do you know what is the right thing to do? Well, we now have maps. Embryological maps. We know that each diseased organ is doing something for a reason, a purpose. We also know that there are changes in the body which can be confirmed by the medical profession. We know that there are psychological changes which can be confirmed in many other different ways, either by observation or just, maybe they've been off to see a psychologist or a psychotherapist or someone like that. We can also see it in their spirit, that even the client can say, yeah, I really was loving life, and then boom, at that point everything shifted and my life suddenly became a battle or a fight or whatever. We can see it change in how they interact with other people. We can see the changes in their environment. So we now have a map. Admittedly, it's probably not as good as a TomTom navigator, but it's pretty good. You know what a TomTom navigator is? Yeah, a car navigator, so you can get from A to B in your car. It's not as good as that yet, but we're getting close, getting very close. And what we do is we start to direct the therapy right into the core of the problem. And the way that we do that is we use info-ceuticals. And basically, if we get to the core of the problem, we release the trapped energy. And you know what happens then? Heat is released. Has anybody experienced that with any info-ceuticals? Not even the new ones that we're going to talk about in a minute. Yeah. Some people have experienced that with EFT. Has anybody ever done EFT? Emotional freedom technique. It looks as though you're slapping your face. I heard even someone call it slapping therapy. But it's having the same effect. And of course, NES is based on meridians and homeopathy. It's going to work to release these emotions. So the beauty is, the new info-ceuticals work on the 4 brain layers. Surprisingly, they're called brainstem, cerebellum, medulla, and cortex. But we shorten them to BSH, so brainstem, hologram, cerebellum, CH, medulla, I think it's either CMH or MH, and cortex, CH. I don't know what, someone's got them here, I'm sure. And each one of them, from the screen, we can actually look at what the emotions are behind each one of these diseases. So the practitioner, what we do, you see, and what we're focusing on now, is, look, here's my real mission. I've been doing therapies with people for coming up to 20 years. I'm bloody good at what I do. But that's 20 years of learning that stuff. And I've made so many mistakes. I don't think we need to do that. We now have technology, and wouldn't it be great to be able to go, let's just look at the map. We want to go from point A here to point B. If we just feed in some info-ceuticals, ask some directed questions, get the result because the client goes, whoa, gee. If we just fire in through the palm, through here with the eye health, instead of having to tap, if we could do that and actually resolve these underlying problems, wouldn't that be amazing? You don't have to phone me up and say, I've got a really tough client here, I don't know how to do this. Well, I've got 20 years experience, I can help you, but it's your client and I'm really busy. I really want you to be able to get the same results, if not better results than me. That would be good. That really would be good. Then I can go out and lecture more. Other NES info-ceuticals, well, what we do, you see, is we take the client, we look at the map, we give them these new info-ceuticals which start to open up the body, bring up the emotion, we direct our questioning to that, we fire in the eye health information, and suddenly the thing gets resolved. The emotion pops, just like I showed you earlier here. This is what happens. It just pops. They end up, heat is released, learning. They change everything in their lives. Then we use the other NES info-ceuticals to remind the body what to do next. This is very, 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 very important because most of your clients come in with chronic diseases. Solve that one problem and it won't solve the whole thing. The issue is, and I'll go into this in a minute, is that they keep going back into the same place. Anyway, we have the Liberator, which brings everything together. And there are also the META-Medicine screen here of the emotions. Peter did some brilliant work linking specific emotions to each one of these, the brain layers, which gives you a guide as to what's going on. And behind these are all the brain maps as well. Absolutely brilliant, totally. But what stops people from healing? Because, you know, you could say, well, all we need are the brain info-ceuticals. Nah. Chronic diseases have a problem. We keep being reminded, going back into the same environment. So energetically, what we can do is do something different. Let me just explain it like this. Let's say we're going to work. And as we go to work, and we normally turn right to go to work, we go down this way, and that's fine. And we develop a habit and a way of doing something. Well, this is like a disease, really. But you see, what happens is, it's like this. Let's say that we know that there's roadworks on the right-hand side. We get up to the junction, and we go, oh, I know there's roadworks, I know there's roadworks, I know there's roadworks. And you sit in a traffic jam. You've been there. Then let's say you also know that the road is completely out now. It's stuck, you cannot get through. You come up to the junction and the habit forces you to go this way. It's true, isn't it? This is what happens with our chronic clients. They go back into the same environments after they come to see us, all charged up. The info-ceuticals remind them exactly where they're going, and then they go back into the same environment. Or let's say in normal, we resolve the emotion, but they still have a habit going on. And what we want to do is, instead of going up to the junction and through habit turning right, we say, there's another way. The info-ceuticals remind us, or remind the body to go this way instead. These are the normal info-ceuticals that we normally have. So we have a way of dealing with the emotions to start with, and then the next thing, as Peter Fraser says, the info-ceuticals correct the human body field, telling the body which is the right way to go, so it becomes a habit. Does this make sense? No? Yes. Okay, genau. Yeah. Ich verstehe. Okay. So what we do is we find the conflict shock using the NES screen and META-Medicine. We resolve it using Liberator and the brain info-ceuticals by reframing the issue, by changing how we perceive it, by changing that Yudin moment, and we support the body further with NES info-ceuticals. What a beautiful system. What a beautiful system. So, in conclusion, diseases are caused by Yudin shocks. The body has not made a mistake. It never did. I want you to get that into your head. It's done the disease, or created the disease, for a positive reason. That sounds crazy, but it's there. Time and time again, I have seen this with every client that I've ever worked with. That every single disease has a positive reason behind it. This Udin shock affects the human body field. It gets trapped in the brain and the body, sending a wave into the environment to find a solution. Wow! We now know this to be true. Quantum physics proves it. Heart math are proving it. Human body field proves it. That's what's going on. The mind, body, spirit, social and environmental conditions are all affected, every single one, when we have that conflict shock. Disease is a process. Stress followed by rest. Every single disease goes through this. Chronic diseases are caused by unresolved Udin shocks being re-triggered in the environment. Healing comes from resolving the Udin and completing the disease process. It's a process. It's there for a reason. I have 2 stories to finish. But before I do that, do I have your permission just to show you a little bit about some of the things I do, training-wise? What do you do next? I said it all, really, didn't I? Buy the book. Please buy the book. There's a 9 DVD set with EFT. You can get a certification audio series, all these prices in euros as well. Or become a licensed META-Medicine health coach in 2009 or 2010, a 9 or 10-day ones. Or enroll in the new internet-based course that I've got running. You see, I don't want to be traveling around delivering courses. I have a little boy who's, it's welling me up a bit, who's 16 months old. And I really want to be there seeing him grow, as anybody with a child would. And to be away for these lengths of times when I know I can reach far more people in the world by lecturing 1 or 2 days, but also by then allowing people to do an internet-based course so they can get all the information. So there's more information on meta-medicine.com. It still needs to be updated, so please just bear with me a week and I'll get it all done. So buy the book. I have 14 copies. Actually, someone bought one back there. 13 copies. They went straight out as soon as I said, I'm going to buy that now. I've signed them, but I can put a bit more information for you in there. And you can order one and I will send you one. EFT, META-Medicine and EFT DVD sets. There are only 5 left that I have in my possession. I can get more, so if they've all gone by the end of the week, then please just let me know. On this CD set, the very end, I take a lady who's bipolar and has been bipolar all her life, and in 55 minutes we get rid of it by understanding META-Medicine. Oh my God. Just think of that. You can resolve something like manic depression, bipolar, in under an hour? Come on. That alone is worth just sitting and listening to me for an hour and a half. This is with a friend of mine called Carl Dawson. We use a technique similar to EFT. It's called matrix re-imprinting. It is EFT and it's another technique. Then there's a DVD home study pack. Now, for those of you who are traveling on a plane, I have not brought the actual packs themselves, but I bought just a DVD which has every bit on it. And this has 2 comprehensive manuals in there. It's great for studying META-Medicine in detail if you don't want to do a course. And if you get the certification program and you then, this program, and you want to go off and do another program with me, not with any of the other trainers, but with me, I will give you that £247 back, or 247 euros. It's got 34 hours of META-Medicine, not with just me, it's with a friend of mine called Johannes Fischlinger. And then there's 9 or 10-day courses running with me. There's London coming up at the 4th and the 8th of November, so if you are really chomping at the bit, we can still put you onto that course. And there's some in March happening. They're 10 days, there's the price. If you really, really want to see me and come some training, do some training with me, come to New Zealand. I'm running a course. I am, seriously. on the 21st to 29th. It's a 9-day course. And then we got one in Reykjavik with Savannah, which will be great because we're going to do some residential stuff there.